Okay, gentlemen, thanks for coming. I'm going to do my quick thank yous at the beginning because I want to try to get you guys as much information as possible. Appreciate you being here. I know there's a lot of great speakers going on at this same time. I want you to know I'm honored and I'm privileged that you guys are here to try to learn about this. I also want to say, when I'm done with my presentation in those 5 minutes, if I said anything or if you have any questions, please come see me. Or if you have any ideas that you can share with me, I would be honored to hear those. I've got an opportunity to speak some different places throughout the country, and some of the stuff in my presentation is from when I go and speak in clinics, some coaches come up to me and say, hey coach, this is maybe what we do, or this is what I've done, and I've had a lot of success, so please feel free to share with that. I'm honored to be here. I've got some video clips, I got some different things that I want to share with you. I was actually born in Westchester County, in Terrytown, New York, moved when I was 11, so it's nice to come back. It's a lot colder than I remember. I haven't spent much time outside, but let's get into this deal right here. Let's get into it. Pretty peaceful, right? Probably like, Coach, man, you're cracking jokes about the weather, then all of a sudden. Has anybody seen this movie? Shawshank Redemption, right? It's an amazing movie. If anybody hasn't seen it, I'll risk my movie reputation on this movie. We got a saying on our program, it's called FIO. Those of you have heard Coach come and speak before, they get their little bracelets and it's called Figure It Out. This movie is about this man figuring it out. You're probably going, what in the world does that have to do with Bunny? That's what I'd be thinking. To me, that is the pitcher on the mound when there's a runner at first base and he comes set and there's no threat of the stolen base or the hit and run. And he picks his leg up real high, he's about a 1-9 to the plate, and he throws the nastiest fastball you've ever seen. That is symbolic of the pitcher that comes set. There's a runner at first base, and there's no threat of the bunt. He's not worried about, do I cover first base, do I cover second base, are we crashing here? He has none of that in his brain. And he comes set, he's like, watch this, and throws the nastiest curveball you've ever seen. To us, the short game can create havoc. You guys can coach it, some of you longer than I have, you know what I'm talking about. That is the picture where there's no threat. That guy is in total cruise control. It's our belief that the short game can create havoc kind of like this. Spoke about this earlier. The number one thing I feel like Bunny does is it helps with hitting. There's no doubt in my mind that the number one thing it does help with hitting. At Mississippi State, we're trying to get our eyes as close to this barrel as possible. And when we put our guys in our technique, we want our guys to get in that perfect position where their head's behind the barrel. And there's no doubt in my mind in hitting, we want them in that same exact spot. position at Mississippi State. We want every infielder to stick their face in the mitt. I coach the outfielders and first baseman. I want every single outfielder, when they field the ball, I want to see the button of their cap, whether they go glove foot forward or glove foot back, I want to see it. We ask our infielders to show the button of their cap. We ask our catchers, when they receive a strike, to nod to it and drop their chin on it. I ask our first basemen, when there's a ball in the dirt, to stick their face in there and pick it out, fascinated with it. And I'm convinced that bunting helps with hitting. Whether you're bunting curveballs, fastballs, you guys know all this, it creates pressure. We don't have necessarily a sag bunt in our program, we call it a kill bunt. We're trying to land it 28 to 32 feet from home plate. I'll show you an example of that in a second. The short game also dictates defensive positioning. It creates confusion. And this last one is my very favorite one, especially with these new bats, guys. I feel like it can allow everyone to contribute to the offense, because you guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe the 8-hole or 9-hole guy, even in our program, I'm not sold that they're going to maybe get a knock every time. But boy, if we can get them to put a bunt down there, run back to the dugout, and everybody's giving them a high five, they're feeling good about themselves. So that's my ultimate favorite thing. All right, here's the anatomy of our field. This is kind of what I was talking about. I didn't make any of this up, guys. You guys are like me. You guys are professional thieves when it comes to baseball knowledge. I stole all this. It's our belief that if our players can kill a ball anywhere in this quadrant, 28 to 32 feet from home plate, they have the greatest chance of being safe. And also, we feel like if there's no crash on, that he's going to be 100% maybe moving a runner. This little highway here is for our push bunts. I'll get to that. Anytime lefty or righty rams the ball down that highway, we want them to bunt it hard. We tell our guys, man, the closer you get it to the pitcher, the harder you have to bunt it. The whole deal with the left lane is passing. You guys have all been down the highway like 70 and the person's doing 55 in the left lane. If you're like me, you're like, dude, get out of the way. You got to ram it in there. The closer you get to the pitcher, you got to ram it by. So that's our anatomy of our field. Here's our technique. About 8 years ago, I went away from the pivot technique and I started watching a ton of video, and I found a bunch of big leaguers who are kind of doing this technique here. It's called low, close, and down. I used to teach the pivot technique, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just felt like this technique allowed us and gave us a little bit more room on the outer half. So the first thing we ask our guys to do is get lower. The second thing is, whether they're lefty or righty, we ask them to move their back foot only closer to the plate. So essentially they're creating like an open batting stance. And they're moving their left foot closer to home plate. And then the D stands for down. We want our guys to see every butt down before they take off. We teach the flat bat to start out. I've watched a ton of video. Some guys that maybe start like this. About 98% of the time when guys actually bunt it, their bat is flat. So I've tried to eliminate this little movement right here. Bat flat, I tell them to use the little pinching grip right there. Maybe slide the bottom hand up, and that's our technique. Low, closer, down. We want their head and their eyes behind the barrel and as close to it as possible. It's so funny we do these camps in Mississippi State. We're blessed. I think last summer we did over 1,000 kids in camp. We asked some little kids to bunt at camp, and they go like this. Come on, don't they, guys? Little 12-year-olds are like, come on, man, get your head in there. They're like, hey, bend on knees a little bit, bend on knees a little bit. They're like, man, they don't want to put their face in there. We use a hack attack pitching machine. I know there's a ton of great ones out there. I think we have 5 of them. We feel like it throws a ton of strikes, and it can get our guys comfortable with putting their face in there. And that's the pitch machine we use. That's how we practice this. I'll rip through these clips. There's a low, close, and down technique. You remember the anatomy of the field at 28 to 32 feet. Lefties or righties.
It's time. Goes third base side. Next straight.
Randy Wood's going to score from second. That's going to be a base hit and an error on the throw by Shields. So on successive plays, the Yankees get the ball down.
I'm a Yankee fan. I'm trying to get as many Yankee clips as possible. I'll check my timer here. All right, that's for lefties or righties. This is our bunt for base hit. For our right-handers, if you're left-handed, we have to do that same technique, the low, close, and down. All they do is just show a little bit later. So lefty or righty, it's the same technique. For right-handers, when they bunt for a base hit, we use this BAD technique. It's called back, as you can see, back, away, and down. The back stands for their back foot. We're trying to move their back foot only. Some guys like to move 2 feet. If they want to do that and it creates a little bit more rhythm for them, we tell them go ahead. But the back foot is the foot that moves, and we're trying to get it away from home plate. By putting it away from home plate, if we feel like it puts their weight on their front leg, and it's going to be able to help us create a better bat angle towards third base. So if I'm facing you guys, it's back, away from home plate. The bat is almost on the same angle as the first base line. Their chest is out over their knee, flat bat, and they're trying to create that third base bat angle. So there's different thoughts and theories on the line or foul. We would rather have our guys show a tad earlier on a drag and put it in a better spot than show late and be rushed and put it in a bad spot. So the D stands for down, to see it down first every time. So this is our BAD technique. Let's watch a couple of these.
Years ago, Arizona, no bunt. Alvarez can't
Yeah, get the job done. In a hurry. Throws it away. Yes. The Wild.
I like those guys. He is. There's a right-hander. He's going first base side. This is just showing the confusion that the short game can create. My personal favorite player.
But it's perfect placement. Once he got to find even the pitcher Laboria that no play. And he really squared around early.
He squared around early. That's exactly what we would teach. And
It's perfect placement. Once he got to find even the pitcher Laboria that no play.
all right, here's our push bunt. I showed you the highway earlier. This is for right-handers. It's that BBF, barrel, bang, and follow. In order to kill those bunts at 28, 32 feet, I'll show you some of our drills. We're essentially trying to bunt the ball off the end of the bat. On this particular bunt, we're trying to ram it past the pitcher, and we're trying to use the barrel this particular time. So the technique is we're trying to hit on the barrel, we're trying to bang it, we're trying to follow it, and I ask our guys to run straight down the 4-hole. So that's the deal. I know you guys know this between first and second. That's our definition of the 4-hole. So they create their angle and they run straight down that 4-hole. So essentially, then they'll eventually turn back into the line. What I have found is by asking our guys to run down the 4-hole, it creates the angle early. And it's just easier for them to kind of run right down that line and then veer off. Sometimes on this bunt, this is the hardest bunt to teach, in my personal opinion. If they create the angle this way, their bat angle is essentially a foul ball. I'm trying to get them to run straight down the 4-hole. So this is a barrel bang and follow.
That's a confusion for the bats once this ball is laid down. Santana had no chance to get it off the bat. There's the flip. Everybody.
Here's another example of a right-hander. Oh, that was not going to work.
There's the bunt. Teixeira.
And then Mickey Mantle. This is the crossover technique, where you just take your back foot for left-handers and cross it over. So this is where he's going to do this technique on a push. For lefties, I use the low, close, and down technique, the same one for the drag and the same one for the kill. I ask them to just put their left foot closer to home plate, create that bat angle, and just walk it right through into the 4-hole. So left-handers have the same technique every time. They're just trying to bang it and follow. This is the crossover technique, where he's just going to cross it over. That guy, apparently that guy could really run. Here's an example of a kill bunt. 20 to 32 feet. I like showing these guys these clips because these are big leaguers, man. These are big leaguers. This is the best in the world. All right, kill bunts equal dirt. We're trying to get our guys who are like, okay, coach, you want us to kill at 20, 32 feet? That's great. We're facing a guy who's got a ton of velocity. How in the world are we going to do that? We talk about the end of the bat. There's times where we are sponsored by Easton. I'll say, hey guys, man, let's try to bunt it off the end. Try to bunt it off that letter right there. And then when we're hitting, I'm like, guys, let's try to hit it off the T and the O. Let's quit hitting off the E. So when we're hitting, let's hit the stinking barrel. And when we're bunting, let's use the end. had a little saying in our program. We did a video review with our guys, and that TO, we're wanting our guys to stay on that TO, and we told every one of our hitters, guys, I'm just telling you right now, if you guys can commit to every at-bat being that focused on that TO stands for 2 Omaha. And one of those kids was like, yeah, coach, yeah. I just made it up in the thing. I was like, what can I tell him to, man, 2 Omaha? He's like, yeah, coach, that's where I want to go. I'm like, yeah, that's 2. Quit hitting off the E. So, and also, if we can land in the dirt first. If we can hit it in the dirt, it has a greater chance. You can see in front of home plate. There's a chance for it to kind of kill and get in the grass. Those are one of the things. Push bumps, we're trying to land these out in the grass. So in order to try to get it by the pitcher, we're trying to land that in the grass. I'll skip that clip. A couple things, I get this one asked all the time. So, Coach, man, teams know we like to bunt, just like we do. How do you teach the slash? For us, we're going to show, my man Cliff Lee's a little taller than I like. I want our guys to maybe sell a little more than that. To me, that's a very obvious body language that he's about to slash, but it actually works, so it's kind of hard to criticize him. But we want our guys to get in there, and we just tell our guys, hey, look, if we're trying to go middle of the field, third base side, first base side, if that guy comes, we're going to go short take back. From here, straight back. Our guys always want to go like that. I'm like, guys, it takes forever. We're doing a little whirly bird. We ain't trying to do that. We don't have time. It's got to be short and bang, and put our face right in there. So this is our defense. So they say, okay, they know we're going to bunt, no problem. We're going to slash. When do we slash? If it's premeditated and we just put the play on, it's when the pitcher breaks his hands. That's when we pull the bat back. Sometimes we don't have time. Sometimes the guy's on us a little bit late and it maybe doesn't happen that perfect timing. But if we actually have a sign for a slash, and if we ever do that, it's when the pitcher breaks his hands. This is a devastating play. If you guys have ever done this to a team or you've had it done to you, we talk about. All right. I'm about to show you the 2 biggest flaws that I find in our guys all the time. The number one is this right here. It's the old stab deal. Don't! It's like, no! You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys standing over there in the coaching box or in the dugout, and the guy goes like, no! This is the biggest thing. One of the things I talked to our guys about, I mentioned the end earlier. We'll tape it back, but I tell them I want you to picture a glove on the end of your bat. I know you guys have probably heard this, but I just want them to picture a glove, and we're just going to play catch. We're just playing catch, wherever it is, playing catch. One thing I just thought about, guys, another thing about this technique, this LCD, is I feel like it gives our guys a little bit of reach on the outer half. If the ball's away, I just ask our guys to lean, and it keeps their head and their barrel connected, as opposed to maybe sometimes when it could go away. I don't know if you guys ever do this deal and they're popping it up, kind of like that. So that's another thing. The stab, I talked about the glove, that's how I try to combat that. This is probably the second biggest thing. This is why we threw the D in there. Just running out of the box too early. The head in their eyes, we talked about earlier, about it just being fixed right on the barrel, getting their head in their eyes behind the barrel. This is the thing our guys want to do, man. They want to get out there so fast, they want to impress everybody, and the second that head gets away from the barrel, as you guys know, the contact is just not going to be nearly as good. When the head gets that far from the barrel, guys, and I have to show our guys this over and over. I'm like, guys, this position, it doesn't work, I promise. It's not going to work as much as you want it to work. Let's get our head right behind the barrel. Let's see it down before we take off every time. So, yeah, I love this clip. I said, man, let's do it right. This might happen.
5 minutes.
You guys remember being at Little League or you having a sons that play right now? They're like, hey man, how'd the game go? Like, Dad, I hit a home run. He said, Dude, you did? Man, that's awesome. The little kids, they're playing with little kids. Man, that's awesome. On a bunt? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hit a home run. All the little boys in Mississippi. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You love camping? Yes, sir. Hit a home run. All right, I'm going to rip through our drills. I got about 5 drills I want to share with you. This is our one-headed drill. This is how I start all of our guys. This is Nick Amorati from Sparta, New Jersey, actually. We start out with this. Sometimes it'll knock the bat out of the hand, but man, I love this drill. I love this drill to get your head and your eyes behind. From there, this is my absolute favorite drill in bunting. My absolute favorite drill is called pause of contact. We're going to ask our guys to bunt and hold it for 2 seconds after they bunt it. This allows the bat to stay out in front of home plate. You guys know how important that is, right? The second we pull that bat back, you guys know that. So I ask them to just stick it. Sometimes you're like, kill it. They're like, ding. They want to start doing all this stuff. I'm like, no. Keep your face right there and let's pause the contact. And every time they bunt, I'll count out loud. I'll stand right there on the side and I'll go 1,001, 1,002. Good job. 1,001, 1,002. 1,001, 1,002. From there, we move on. Here's our drag. This is Kyle Hahn. He's a Canadian kid, very talented player, freshman. He's going to show a tad earlier, but he's going to go. You kind of see his front foot. You hear that music pumping? Coach has speakers in the Palmero Center. So our kids, they plug their little phones in their iPads and they play music. We've gotten to be a little bit more relaxed. This is our 401 time. We're just ripping through and we get the music going. It's amazing to me how music can make kids in a better mood. I'm like, whatever happened to just being in love with just showing up? Let's get to work, boys. They're like, Coach, we got music? Throw Pandora on. They're like, yeah, man, you're dropping all their butts down. I'm like, this is unbelievable. How good music is this? So this is Kyle. This is our drag technique. Take it off. Here's our right-hander doing our push technique. I wanted to show this angle because watch how he's facing us. We've got this camera positioned in the 4-hole, and watch how he sets his bat angle right at us, and then he just runs right down that 4-hole. You see how he's not running down the line? I've found that that's the easiest way to get it in that little quadrant. This is our first week. We set a base at 55 feet, and we time our guys. I give them 3.25 seconds to run 55 feet. Why 55 feet? I just didn't feel like with all these restrictions, I didn't want them to run a full 90 feet. So I just came up with, I don't know where we got this, but we just came up with a time. We timed all of our guys, and every guy on our team should make this. This is Daryl. He's not running full speed. This, I promise, is not a 3.25.
2 minutes.
But I didn't want to show you the bases there. This is our first week, and I didn't want them to start ripping through, but that is, we just throw down base, and we rip through that. All right, for some of our more experienced guys, this guy's been with us for 4 years. Everyone in our league knows he bunts. It's on his scouting report, and we had to come up with a way for him to still get it down. This is the guy who's incorporating his trigger and then laying his bunt down. If I tried to do this with some of our freshmen now, I don't know if they would get it. Some of them would, but this guy's just incorporated his trigger. So I asked our third baseman, hey man, what are you staring at? And he said, Coach, I teach our guys, our third baseman, to stare at the hitter's top hand. When that top hand moves, then it's bunt to crash. Some guys stare at the trigger. I know Brett Butler did this. So here's our tape ad. It's Hunter Renfro, 6'2", 215. This guy's maybe be a first rounder. But I want you to stare at the end of the bat. This is what the tape does. Again, the visual. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking a look here at just.
Is that his batting stance, Coach?
That's his batting stance, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's wide open, but then you see his technique. You see how he's getting ahead of their eyes, close to their barrel, his bat's flat, and stare at that tape. He hits it right off there, man. And that's going to help kill it a little better. So, those are our drills, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, man. Thanks for laughing at my little jokes. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to kind of talk.